second grade Smarties, and welcome to Wit and Wisdom Module 3, Civil Rights Heroes, lesson number 9. So today we are going to continue to talk about what's happening in the book, I Have a Dream. Yesterday, we talked about the first 11 pages of this text, and we looked at the paintings and we looked at the phrases and words that Dr. King used in his I Have a Dream speech. Today, we are going to be exploring the rest of the text, and we are going to be looking a little closer at what Dr. King was trying to communicate about his dream. All right, so this is the page that we stopped on yesterday. And we stopped at this painting of Dr. King. And remember, this is in first person point of view. So that means Dr. King is the one talking in the book. In this page, let's read it together. Are you ready? I have a dream today. What was Dr. King's dream? What was his dream for America? Tell me in the puzzle. His dream was freedom for all, right? Freedom and justice for all. The end of segregation. Remember, segregation is the act of keeping people apart based on the color of their skin. So Dr. King's dream was the end of segregation and the bringing in of integration, that freedom and justice and inclusion of everyone. So here is what we're going to do, Smarties. We are going to read a couple pages at a time. So as I am reading this text to you, you have a couple jobs to do. I want you to think about the words that Dr. King is saying, but I also want you to look at what is happening in the paintings. What is happening in the paintings in relation to the text? How do the text and the paintings work together? All right, let's listen. Let's get settled. Remember that active listening, you don't have any distractions around you, and you are focused on growing your knowledge about our civil rights heroes. All right, I have a dream that one day little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. So, what do these two pages, what do the paintings show us about Martin Luther King's dream? Remember, his dream is for equality, freedom, and justice for all people. How does this first painting relate to Dr. King's dream? How is this painting like Dr. King's dream? Look closely at the picture. How is it related to Dr. King's dream? Tell me in the puzzle. So his dream was that all people, no matter the color of their skin, could join hands and be together. So part of his dream is that children that are black, are in white, or are from different cultures, different races, that they could come together, that little boys and girls can play together no matter the color of their skin. And this text, this page, talks about his dream that all things will be made equal, right? So his dream is for equality for all people. So these paintings are working together with Dr. King's speech. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, We will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. What does Dr. King dream black and white people will do together? What were two things in the text that Dr. King said that he dreamed of black and white people doing together? Tell me in the puzzle. So in the text, it says, with this faith, so with this dream for equality, his dream was that black and white people could work together, pray, struggle, go to jail, stand up for freedom together, working together for freedom for all. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my father died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So we talked about this page yesterday, how Dr. King used words from the song America to relate to people's need for freedom, to relate to the country's creed, right? That promise for freedom and justice for all. So now I'm going to give you a challenge. For the next few pages, I want you to hold up a finger every time you hear the words, let freedom ring. Okay, are you ready? So let's look back at this page and let's see if we can hear those words, let freedom ring. What words are you listening for? Let freedom ring. All right, here we go. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my father died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of California. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill in Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. In the Ed puzzle, I want you to tell me, how many times did you hear Dr. King say, let freedom ring? Tell me in the Ed puzzle. He said that 10 times. Why do you think he said that 10 times? Why did he say the words, let freedom ring, 10 times? Why did he say that, Smarties? Tell me what you're thinking in the puzzle. Why did he say, let freedom ring 10 times? Because he wants that to stick in our heads, that freedom should be for all and from every mountainside. So what does he mean there? He means that from every place in the world, let freedom ring. Let there be freedom for all over the country and all over the world. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, we will let it ring from every village, in every hamlet, from every state, in every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Wow. Man, doesn't that just stick in your heart and mind hearing that? That dream for freedom that people fought for? Wow, that is so cool. All right, so Let's look at this illustration. Let's look at this painting. There are some birds that are flying into the sky. How does this painting connect with the words, free at last, free at last? Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Why does this painting work with these words? What are you thinking? Why did they use pictures of birds flying when the text said, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last? Why did the illustrator do that with this text? Tell me what you're thinking in the puzzle. So the illustrator, the painter, think about birds. Birds are free to go wherever they want to go. They're free to travel from north to south, south to west. Birds are free. They are free to do and go wherever they want. So this painting relates to that freedom that Dr. King dreams of, that dream of freedom and equality. All right, Smarties. So in Dr. King's speech, he talked about his dreams for the nation, for the country of the United States, but he also talked about dreams for children. So I have 6 different dreams that Dr. King talked about. We are going to sort these dreams if they were dreams for children or dreams for the nation, for the United States. All right, so I'm going to have you help me sort these by asking you to tell me in the puzzle. Are you ready? The nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. Ooh, listen to any topic-specific words in that sentence that tells you where this one belongs. The nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. In the ed puzzle, I want you to tell me, where is this quote going to go? Under dreams for children or dreams for nation? It's going to go under dreams for nation, right? Because it used that topic specific word, nation. The nation will rise up and live out the meaning of its true creed. Remember, freedom and justice for all. That is the creed. All right, our next one. My 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin. Was that a dream for children or for the nation? Tell me in the puzzle. It was a dream for his 4 children, right? His dream was that his children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And that topic-specific word children told us where it needed to go. All right, this one's going to be a little more challenging. Here we go. Mississippi will become an oasis of freedom and justice. I'm going to read that again. Mississippi will become an oasis of freedom and justice. Does this belong under dreams for children or dreams for the nation? Tell me in the puzzle. It belongs as a dream for the nation. Why? Because Mississippi is a state in the United States of America. This is a dream for one of the states in our country. All right, our next one. Little black boys and girls will join hands with little white boys and girls. Where does this dream belong? In dreams for children or dreams for the nation? Tell me in the puzzle. In dreams for children, right? Talking about the little black boys and black girls, white boys and white girls. All right, the next one. The nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. Oh my goodness. Miss Mason made an uh-oh. We've already seen this one. This was the first one we did. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to get rid of that one. All right. So we had 2 from the nation. And let's see what this last one says. All God's children will sing My Country 'Tis of Thee with new meaning. Where does this one belong? It belongs with children. It has that topic-specific word, children, that lets us know that this was a dream that Dr. King had for children. All right, and let's go back into present mode. All right, so yesterday we were introduced to this photograph. Remember, we can use photographs as a source to help us gather information when talking about a main topic or something that we want to learn more about. So I want you in the Ed puzzle to describe the setting of the photograph. I want you to describe the setting, the place that this photograph takes place in. In the Ed puzzle, tell me, describe the setting. So as I'm looking at this setting, I'm seeing that they are walking on a path. It looks like it's very stormy or cloudy. This picture's in black and white, so it might have just been really cloudy. But it looks like people are marching on an empty path. What besides the people do we see toward the center of the image? So the center means the middle. What do you see in the middle of the picture? Besides the people, what is standing tall in the middle of the picture? The American flag, right? Because these people wanted freedom and justice in America. They were fighting for that freedom in America. What does the photographer show us about the length of the line of people? What can we infer? What can we conclude based on this photograph? Looking at this line, do we see an end to this line of people? No. So what do you think the photographer is trying to tell us about this picture? What do you think the photographer is trying to tell us? Tell me in the puzzle. So this picture, are you ready for this knowledge? This is so cool. This was a march led by Dr. King in 1965. And this march, are you ready for this, Smarties? It lasted for 5 days. 5 days. They marched for 5 days. And it went from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama. This was a state where segregation was really prominent. That means that there were a lot of places that were segregated in the state of Alabama. So people were peacefully marching to protest against segregation. Now, here's where it gets crazier. The trip from Selma to Alabama was 54 miles long. And the group of people walked for 12 hours a day. So we can't see an end to this line, but we know that these people were marching for what, Smarties? They were marching to end segregation. This is a picture that took place during the civil rights movement, that fight for equality, freedom, and justice for all. So think about this source. This is a source that gives us information about the civil rights movement, right? We know that people marched in protest against segregation. And we know that this was a protest or a march that took place in Alabama. That is a source of information that we can keep in our minds when we will be writing again when we do our next writing task. I want you to imagine you were walking in this group of people. What sounds might you hear if you were marching? What do you think people would be doing? What do you think people would be doing? What would they be saying? What sounds would they be making? What do you think you would hear? Tell me in the puzzle. So, in my mind, if I was marching with this group of people, I'd be thinking of that song, Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Round, right? That was a freedom song, right? That was a protest song. So in my mind, I imagine myself walking, hearing crunching feet and hearing people sing that song for freedom and not giving up. So what do you think the protesters were thinking or feeling when they were marching? Think about it. They marched for 5 days, for 12 hours a day. What do you think they might have been thinking or feeling on this march? Tell me in the puzzle. I think that they would be tired, but they would be excited and motivated and encouraged. They would have a growth mindset, right? They were fighting for justice. They were fighting for equality. So think about this source. How does this build your knowledge about the civil rights movement? And let's wrap up this lesson with a deep dive. All right, so today we are going to be talking about adverbs to add detail to our writing. Yesterday we talked about adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe a noun. So adverbs are words that describe a verb or another adverb, right? So adverbs describe how something is done. So a verb is an action word. It's something you can do. So adverbs describe how you do the action. All right, so I'm going to read one sentence, and then I'm going to read the same sentence, but I'm going to add an adverb. Are you ready? Here we go. People protested segregation. Now I'm going to add an adverb. People peacefully protested segregation. How does the word peacefully affect that sentence? How did it change the sentence? People peacefully protested segregation. How did the word peacefully change the meaning of that sentence? Tell me in the puzzle. It lets us know, it paints a picture in our head of how people protested. If they protested segregation, and it doesn't give us an adverb about how they protested, they could have been screaming, they could have been throwing things, they could have been running through the streets. But when we added the word peacefully, it lets us know that they didn't use their bodies, they didn't use their fists to protest, they used their words. And they used their community, right? When they peacefully protest, they did sit-ins, they marched, they walked together, they held up signs, and they sang protest songs. So the word peacefully described how people protested. Now, looking at the word peacefully, was peacefully before the word protested or after the word protested? It's before, right? So sometimes we might see our adverbs before our verb, but sometimes we might see it after the verb. So we could say people protested segregation peacefully. We could put peacefully at the end of that sentence. So usually when we hear adverbs, they usually have that ly, that suffix ly. We have learned about that. What does ly say? It says ly. So peacefully describes how people protested. All right, and let's look at this painting of Dr. King. What is Dr. King doing in this painting? What action is he doing? He's speaking, right? This is where he's giving his speech. I want you to think, how did he give his speech? How did he speak? Give me an adverb that describes how Dr. King spoke. Tell me in the puzzle. So we could say Dr. King spoke confidently. He spoke peacefully. He spoke eloquently. He spoke gracefully, right? He used kindness. He used peace in his speeches. So those are words that describe how Dr. King did what? How he spoke. All right, Smarties, that is going to be it for Module 3, Lesson number 9. Remember to keep that growth mindset. Good learners do hard things, and I will see you tomorrow with another Wit and Wisdom lesson. Happy learning, Smarties.